Good morning, and welcome to Board Game Breakfast. I'm Wendy Yi.
I'm Chris Yi.
And hi there, I'm Eric Summerer.
Yay, we're so glad to be together again. It has been so long since we have eaten breakfast. I'm starving.
Yeah, me too. Eric, are you hungry like an aforementioned wolf?
I am hungry like the wolf. I can't wait to chat with you. It's been way too long, and we are also enjoying the struggles of new technology this morning. As Skype has shut down,
yes.
And we're learning how to use new things, and things are different.
R.I.P. my boy Skype. That was for you. Pour out a drink for your homies. By that I do mean a glass of OJ or milk, 2% or 1%, your choice.
When did Skype come out? It's like 2002?
4, 3? Yeah.
Something like that?
These are the important things
while.
we have to learn.
Yeah, it's really important.
That's how we have to start things this morning.
Chris is looking it up. Will Google AI let you know right off the bat? Or do you have to open a website first?
2003.
It will say. So we were in the right
close.
ballpark.
Squarely between you two.
Yeah.
Nicely done. Yeah, so Skype had a good 22 years taken from us too soon. So yeah, now we're trying a slightly different thing here. And it has a few hiccups, but we're figuring it out.
That we are.
I love
but
hiccups.
We do want to start out by talking about Dice Tower East. That is, what are the dates for that? The 2nd through the 5th?
Throw me under
Come
the bus
on,
like
Google.
this.
I had it pulled up on my phone and it's gone. I think it's anyways.
It starts
through
July
that,
2nd, yeah.
Through that Sunday. Starting July 2nd.
Yeah, it's the week of July 4th. I know that much.
It does start July 2nd. I know that much.
Yeah. So registration is open. Tickets are selling, and we are ahead of where we were sales-wise last year. And last year we did sell out of tickets. So if you don't want to be caught unawares and not be able to get into the convention, then go ahead and go to dicetowereast.com. Mike Heller very nicely put it in the live chat for you. So go ahead and register so you can game with all of us. Eric will be there.
He will.
I will. I have tickets and everything.
Oh, you have your ticket. Whew.
Yes.
Lead by example. Look at you. Do you know, Eric, are you doing anything? Like last year you did a few events. You did like a voiceover workshop and a lit RPG thing. Do you have anything planned like that?
I don't have anything, but I'm certainly open to that. I don't know if everything's been locked down yet. I would love to play another game of Parsley, the sort of RPG. I play the computer and everybody else plays the player in a text adventure. And that was such a blast. We did it with like 20, 30 people last year. I would love to see a larger group and another adventure this time. But I have not been officially confirmed for those events yet.
Okay, well, we can put in a good word for you. We know somebody.
I need to find someone at Dice Tower HQ to put in a good word for me, yeah.
Ooh, HQ. That sounds fancy.
Yes. Mike Heller, please put in a good word for Eric. All right. We also want to thank our sponsor for this show, GripMat, who makes custom playmats. In fact, why don't we let a previous historical version of Chris explain exactly what the sponsor does. This show is sponsored by GripMat, who makes custom playmats for many of your favorite games. With their custom grip surface, you can keep cards and tiles in place without worrying about messing up the gameplay. Or you can get one without the grip surface if you just want a great-looking mat. Whether sprucing up a hot new title or an old classic, consider picking up a grip mat in the Etsy link below.
Hi, it's Tarrant.
And Stella here from Maple University. Today we have Critter Kitchen, a game about making food and going to different places to collect ingredients. It's basically a simultaneous action selection game.
Yes, you have 3 workers, 1 small, 1 medium and 1 large. The large workers can carry more resources, but they get there later and so get a worse choice. And so it's a constant decision of trying to work out where to send your critters to get the highest combination of ingredients.
And I am constantly got bitten by Tarrant here, because you always seem to go to the right place at the right time and it's like end up with not loving ingredients, but that's the risk of simultaneous action selection.
Yes, it's all, there's various different ways of scoring. So if you get the most stuff, you're not necessarily going to be able to convert that into victory, because there's 2 intermediate scorings and then 1 endgame scoring, and those work in very different ways.
It's really at the end of the game, you need to plan ahead which resource or which ingredients you want to keep behind the screen, or which one you want to use to cook, make dishes to earn points. And different game has got different objectives as well, and different critics.
Yes, this game is illustrated by Sandara Tang, who also did the very popular illustrations for Flamecraft. You can very much see that same delightful style in the box.
I do love games about food, making food. I really enjoy the artwork and simultaneous action selection like Happy Pig, which is the first simultaneous action selection that I've played. It's a fun game.
Yes.
It is time for our Eyecatchers segment, where we talk about something in the world of games or even outside the world of games that has caught our eye. And I get to start things off today with a game from Tim Fowers. Now, we know Tim Fowers as the designer and leader of Fowers Games, but before his first design, Walkstar, he was an app designer. He was in the digital realm, and this is him heading into that direction again with a game called Peggy's Farm. This is a farming game that uses a pachinko style of resource collection. So you've got sort of a big old farm grid. Grid isn't quite the word. A landscape with objects in it, and you're firing balls at it to water your crops. And you have to hit the crops in order to make them grow.
Just like in real life.
Just like you just have to smack them with something to water the plants. And that will get you then vegetables that you can sell at the market, which earn you resources, which let you upgrade things and expand what you have. Buy seeds, so you keep buying more seeds and planting them, and then also planning your shots and figuring out what you hit. And then there's a whole level of interaction with characters in the town. You keep unlocking more stuff. There is a demo of this. It's currently on Kickstarter, raising money for the final version. But there is a demo version that's been available on Steam for a little while now. I've actually played a couple versions of the demo and seen the game evolve. It's really a really interesting sort of game, a nice, cozy, quiet. There's no timer, really. You can just sort of take a shot. I sometimes play it while I'm editing a podcast, maybe, and, take a couple of shots and earn some money, collect some resources, and then move on to something else that you're working on. I've really enjoyed what I've been able to play so far and can't wait to play the full version of Peggy's Farm.
It looks like a pinball game.
It is very pinball-y. In fact, there is, I think, a mini game that's pinball-y. There's some mining mini games and stuff like that come into play, and certainly stuff I haven't seen yet in the demo.
So does this have anything to do with any other board game? Or is this just straight up its own app, its own
This
game?
is its own thing. I think it's just another property that they have worked on. Who knows? I mean, I know there's been some cross-pollination with Fowers Games before. What was the real-time airline game? That started as an app.
Now boarding.
No. Now Boarding. That's
Boarding,
it.
yeah.
That was an app at one point in his early career, and that became a board game. So who knows? We might see a Peggy's Farm board game down the line.
With real pinball.
Yeah, with real pinballs.
Yeah.
And
wet
water.
ones
You got to water the plants.
that just, splash all your plants and stuff. Yeah,
Oh
is
my
this,
goodness.
from what you've played, is this similar to Peglin, the other one that you highlighted before?
It is. So I actually had played the demo of this first, and it wasn't ready yet. Obviously, the full version isn't out yet. And so I went searching for something similar, and that is how I found Peglin. So I would say it is similar, but without the deck building aspect of Peglin. This is much more a hit what you can and then increase your arrangement of stuff to make your shots more efficient.
Does this have any of those app tropes like ads, or you have to wait a certain amount of time before you can play other stuff? Does it have any of that kind of stuff built in, or does it just feel like a full game?
I don't believe so. I think it's a full game. You make a purchase and you own the whole thing, and
Nice.
it's got a progression, sort of a campaign. So you're gradually getting more and more stuff and increasing your footprint and all of that. But I think it's all in one purchase as opposed to a free to play model.
Cool.
Eric, have you played the Through the Ages app from CGE?
A little bit, not a ton, but yeah.
So in the tutorial for the board game, or the app implementation of the Through the Ages board game, like there's a little like Vlada Chvadl that pops up and like teaches you how to do all the stuff in the games. Like you can spend this many resources to build these, construct these buildings. But if you want to speed it up, you can pay $7.99 for 400 crystals. Just kidding, it's not that type of app.
I do remember that moment, yes.
That's cute.
All right, very cool. I like the look of this a lot, and I like Fowers games, so I'll have to check this one out. All right, moving on. My eye catcher this week. There's been a lot of time that has passed since our last breakfast, and this one still remains the eye catcher that I think I'm kind of most excited about. This is an expansion coming soon for Lunar Rush. Lunar Rush is a very interesting pick up and deliver game of sorts, right? It's like a route game where you have to deliver materials to the moon to build moon stuff, but also you need moon crystals back on the Earth. And so you're sending ships up with astronauts and stuff to go work on the moon, and then you take those same ships back. And there's fast, medium, and slow routes. The faster routes, you can only carry a few things. The slow route, you can carry a ton of stuff. And then the Goldilocks in the middle, right? And so it's just this fun game of like, which route do you go on? How long do you take? The timing of it back and forth. It's really good. And in fact,
Do you know what the expansion adds? Does it add more routes? Does it add more moon crystals?
It adds more out of this world fun per Mark Dainty of Not Board Gaming.
Well, I'm sold.
Yeah, you can see right there. Nominated for Dice Tower Award, Dice Tower Seal of Excellence. Joey particularly really liked this one. And it's a Euro game, and Joey liked it.
Yeah, but it's got space in the moon.
It's got the moon. It's got moon crystals.
Is the moon considered a space game? It is, right?
Yeah. It's outside the atmosphere. You're good.
Outside of the atmosphere games, that would be a more scientifically accurate way to describe.
It sounds like a publishing company.
During
It does, yes.
During the Spring Spectacular, we did top 10 space games, and I did not include anything that took place entirely on the moon, nor anything that was entirely on Mars, or, you know what I mean, like all on a single planet. This one, though, since you are launching from Earth to the moon, I would consider this a space game.
It counts.
Yeah, because it's not entirely located. It's not upon a single celestial body.
There's moments where you were in the vacuum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I like it. All right, on to mine. All right, this one I'm excited about. This is Seven Wonders, the dice game. So this looks like it's going to be a roll and write game of sorts. So it says it's pen and pencil, and there's not a lot we know about it, but it does sound like there's going to be interaction with your neighbors, like in regular Seven Wonders. Now, I don't know if that means you're building up armies or if that means something else, but I have just really enjoyed the Seven Wonders series so far. There's not been a miss at all with any of those games, and when I look at this, I think I really enjoyed Istanbul Dice, and so I'm hoping that this kind of has that same feel of I just really enjoy a lighter dice version of a game that I really very much enjoy myself.
I think the comparison here is going to be how close is it to Roll Through the Ages, which is one of the first roll and write designer designs, to see how different it's going to be. Similar theme, similar concepts, but a totally different branching point.
Yeah. I'm very curious if it's going to have the same colors and the same resource styles. I mean, I imagine they'll include that somehow, but I'm just curious how they're going to do that. Are the dice themselves going to have resources on them? Will you have separate dice that are resource dice and separate dice that are army dice, and you roll them? And I just kind of don't know.
Yeah,
there's so many possibilities out there.
I think the most apt comparison to this must be Raw and Write, coming from 25th Century Games. No, they didn't.
Not that kind of
No, they just named it Seven Wonders Dice. They didn't name it something stupid.
Yeah, that's fair.
That being said, I am interested in Raw and Write, but it's before the trend of roll and writes, there was still that trend of like the dice games, right? Like Raw, the dice game was not a roll and write. It sort of could have been, but not necessarily. what's the one Eric mentioned? Roll Through the Ages.
Roll Through the Ages, yeah.
Yeah. So there's been that trend before. But...
Which, I mean, I see this and I don't necessarily I didn't think it was going to be a roll and write game until I looked more into it. I assumed it would just be straight up, draft dice, do stuff with your dice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So Seven Wonders is one of those games that's slowly becoming its like own family of games, right? We've got the original with all of its many, many, many expansions.
Architects and Duel.
Architects and Duel. So this would be the 4th game in the Seven Wonders line. Mm-hmm. 4 out of 7.
Oh. What will be the 7th Seven Wonders game?
Yeah, what else are we predicting, Eric?
Clay. It's going to be clay. You got to mold your own wonders. The Parthenon out of Play-Doh.
Oh, if I have to build one, I'm going to fail.
What is that game? Not Cahoots. Cranium?
Cranium, yeah.
That comes
Cranium,
with the Play-Doh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not every version of Cranium. I feel like there was also a Cranium family of games, and some of them did not come with Play-Doh.
Yeah. I could see that. Seven Wonders dipping into the educational line. Seven Wonders teaches typing.
Oh, do they still do that? They still have typing teaching?
They must.
Mine was Mavis Beacon. That's what I...
Yeah, I had Mario teach us typing.
Mario,
it wasn't a very good game.
Oh, see, that's cool. I had a kid that I worked with that he had Timon and Pumbaa teaches typing. They would lick up bugs every time that you got the bug letter right.
Oh, that's too fancy.
Oh.
That's too fancy. All right, folks. So that's been our Eyecatchers. We're going to attempt to jump to our next segment of contributors and keep things rolling. So cross your fingers for us, but enjoy this nice distraction in the meantime.
Happy breakfast, everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you about Superstore 3000, which is, as you might suggest, a game all about building a futuristic skyscraper-like mall, and you're building upwards. You start out with just a humble little entrance, and you're going to be adding tiles to build upwards from there. Not just square tiles, though. Once you've triggered some objectives, you're going to get these big, quirky, fun-shaped attraction tiles that are also going to give you points and help you build higher and sometimes even wider as well. Why are you doing all this though? Well, it's to satisfy some customers. So let's say this person comes in wanting a burger. You're going to need to build into your Superstore a burger restaurant. Yep, that makes sense. But they are lazy, these people. They will only move 3 spaces or 3 stores away from where they start. Then those attraction tiles, those big things, those big tiles that you're adding in, well, you get those for maybe, say, having 3 blue tiles in a row or in a diagonal or built above a certain level, maybe above the 6th level, that sort of stuff. And you're going to be getting points for that. It's also got one of those cool market-like things, a bit like Acropolis or Century Spice Road, where 1 card, or in this case 2 tiles at the bottom of the dispenser are free, and each level you go up it costs you 1 more money to buy it. So if you have a load of money, you have a load of choice, and if you don't, well, you're stuck with, okay, there's only a couple free, unless you use your entire turn to take money. I certainly enjoyed the game and would recommend you playing it. It's even on Board Game Arena. It just came out of like the beta there. So go and play it there and see if this is a game about building futuristic space malls for you. Till next time, enjoy the rest of your breakfast.
This is a segment where we take a look at a board game based on an IP, and I tell you if the IP and the mechanisms match. Today, we're looking at Five Nights at Freddy's. Okay, so there's a little off switch on the side here. You want to turn on and you can hear the music. And it says 1 blue, so I'm going to try to take 1 blue off of here. That's fine, then the next player would go. And it's 1 yellow, so we're going to try to take 1 yellow, and he's fine, so the next player would go. 2 blue, it becomes a little tricky. And if for any reason the color is not there, you just take any other color, you're fine. Okay, the next person can go. Let's say that's 1 blue. And then the next person will go. 2 red. Uh-oh. Maybe this thing goes. Ah! So then I would be eliminated because he popped up on my turn. Then you would set back up and everybody else would go until there's only 1 person remaining. That's how you play Five Nights at Freddy's. So this is a little hard one because this is a really young children's game. But I'm going to try to make this work with where the IP and the mechanisms match. what you're going to have here is the kids are trying to steal the pizza from the pizza store, and then Freddy's going to, at some point, jump out. So it does have the theme of the jump scares. That's really big in the video game, is the jump scares. And that's really what the game is about, is the noise and listening to that, and then the jump scares come out and get you. And that's here in this game. And of all the Five Nights at Freddy games I've played, this is the only one that includes jump scares like this, where it's actually a jump scare and where kids will jump back and blah, blah, blah. So that's really good. That's really thematic of it. The fact that you're stealing pizza and he's like staring at you, some of that actually does play in. It's bizarre how generic of a game it is, but how well it works with this IP and theme. So for me, while the game is generic and every week there's another one on the shelf with a different plastic toy, it actually works pretty well with Five Nights at Freddy's. So your mileage may vary. Now, how many 3 or 4 year olds do you have that love Five Nights at Freddy's? That might be the better question.
All right, so it's oh no.
Oh, we don't have Eric.
Uh-oh.
He died.
No,
Oh,
he's
no.
still with us.
Oh no. What if Eric's gone forever?
Welcome back from the void, Eric.
Mom, don't do that to me again. That game was freaky. I don't like it. The Five Nights at Freddy's game, I don't like the music. I didn't like the jump scare. I am scared of the whole thing, and I don't like it. I'm just going to say that. And I didn't like the void either.
But did you like the pizza?
Pizza is delicious.
Okay.
Which is your favorite color or flavor of pizza, red, blue, or yellow?
Blue pizza.
It's a Star Wars pizza.
Blue cheese flavored. Just got a little fuzzies on it. Extra flavor crystals.
Oh, okay. The Crisception is done. We are onto our top 10 list now. So, we figured since Dice Tower East is, it's not around the corner, it's around 2 corners, right?
Yes.
It's true.
Two
We have
corners
Summer
away.
Spectacular first.
We do. And that's coming up around the corner. But seeing as how we're, pushing you. We're bullying you into coming to Dice Tower East, right? But we figure why not
Yeah,
talk
fair.
a little bit about some of the cool games in the library for a top 10. So the topic is top 10 older games in the Dice Tower East library that we would like to play.
I think that's a part that was missed at the bottom. Yeah, we specifically want to play
Masters.
these. These would be nice to pull out, learn, have someone come up to us potentially and offer to teach it.
That'd be groovy.
These are ones we have not had a chance to play yet. We want to try them, but
Yes.
Yes,
We
that we
have to.
want to try.
Not that we're
Exactly.
making any commitments.
Right.
yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and kick off first on this list. Ooh, yes, and if you have not seen one of our top 10 lists, what we do here for During Board Game Breakfast is each of us have submitted 3 choices, and leaving 1 empty slot, the number 1 pick, which belongs to the chat. So,
And Chris gets to choose.
yes, this
Who's the
week-
winner today?
this week I will be choosing, you're going to have a hard time already one-upping Mike Heller, who threw a banger right into the chat room.
Yeah, right?
But go ahead and throw in what answers you have. What's an older game that you would enjoy playing if you were at a convention with us here? So I'm going to kick it off. The number 10 pick is a game that I've heard Tom talk about for years, probably for like a decade, honestly. And I've never gotten a chance to play, despite the fact that I really like these co-designers here. This is 10 Days in the USA by Alan Moon and Aaron Weisblum. Eric, have you played this one?
I've played what they called Europa Tour, which is also 10 days in Europe. So I know the concept, but I haven't played USA specifically, so I don't know any of the particulars. Would this be your first and or only 10 Days series game, Chris?
Yeah, I've not played any of them. This is basically spatial Racco. So, Wendy, you grew up playing a ton of Racco.
Ton of Racco.
And this is kind of that. You have a rack of cards in front of you, 2 racks, I think, right? And you have to try to line up a trip in a sensible way. So, states that are adjacent to other states, and then there are, different colors of states. So if you have a plane in between a green state, you can have a plane and then another green state, I think. And so you're just kind of playing spatial Racco, more or less, I think, right? Is that a pretty apt description, Eric?
Sure. Yeah. And you're trying to use different modes of transportation to get to where you want to go, and you have to make sure you end in the right place and swap out tiles to make it work. Plus, if you know somebody's going for a particular type of tile, you're trying to prevent them from taking it. I think there are multiple draw piles. It's some interesting mechanisms here that makes it more interesting than just plain Racco.
Yep. So there you go. That's my number 10. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Nice. Am I up next?
Yes, you are.
Okay. My next one is a really big boxed game that I feel like for years you got to play it and I never got to play it. And it's just been sitting there in my mind of I want to play this giant game, and that's an Acrony. So it's massive. I honestly wish I knew more about it. I guess there's like an inner area that you're exploring or building up or something, and then there's like an outer area as well. You've played this. Have you played it, Eric?
I have not, but it did make my short list of ones that I would like to try. This has a time travel aspect to it, doesn't it?
It does. It's mostly loans that you have to pay back, but the idea is the time travel aspect of it is you take resources from the future when you are much richer than you are now.
Yeah.
But you have to, at some point, send them back into the future. Otherwise, you cause a rift.
A time rift?
Yeah. No, it's a very good worker placement game. You're building up your personal player board with different spots, but there's also the most powerful spots in the middle board. But in order to send workers out there, because of this whole chaotic post-apocalyptic setting, right, you have to put them into a mech suit to use the outside actions. It's very good. It's very much a David Turksy game. A lot of rules. When I played it, it was not in such a big box. It was just in a regular sized big box.
Is the big box just because the big miniatures?
No, it's 3 expansions all folded in there.
Oh, okay.
This is one of those giant crates of death where people were like, I kind of stopped playing an Acrony when I bought the big box because
it just was too much.
That's kind of the thing is Tom's debated going back to just a basic box in the library for that reason.
Just because of that. Yeah, this is one that I feel like I would need someone to teach me. And I remember asking you a little bit after you played at Meepleville. I remember being like, "Oh, we should try it," and you were like, "No, still too much." But it's been on my list, my what do you call that? Grail's game list, I guess.
Yeah.
Grail games.
Yeah, it's just been on that forever, and it's in the library. It's there. It's possible. I just need someone to hold my hand because I'm not reading that rule book.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. The number 8 slot is mine. I have played and enjoyed many hidden movement games. I really like Stop Thief. What's the Emerson Matsuuchi game? Spectre Ops. I really like that one. But I have never played what I would consider the granddaddy, at least of the modern era of hidden movement games, and that is Letters from Whitechapel. Where one player is trying to hide from the others, and the others are getting information, trying to figure out where they are, corner them into a section. Mr. Jack is another hidden movement game, 2-player hidden movement. And I would like to give this one a whirl. This just sort of missed my. It's always been on my radar. I've always wanted to try it, but I never had a chance to play it. So this is one I would love to pull off the shelf and give a try. Letters from Whitechapel.
Have you played? My favorite hidden movement game is Sniper Elite, the board game, actually. Have you tried that one?
No.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it has a decent amount of combat mechanisms to it because the hidden person's the sniper. And so I'm not familiar with Whitechapel, right? But one of the stresses for me about these types of games is if you mess up once as the hidden person, you're like, well, I'm kind of donezo, right?
I just cheated.
But in Sniper Elite, it's fun because you're like, no, I've got a gun. So.
Well, I guess you don't mean mess up cheated. I'm always afraid that I'm going to cheat as the person. There's nobody there, on accident. There's nobody there to say, no, Wendy, you can't actually do that.
Or maybe in the one time we played Spectre Ops, we're no, Wendy, when you activate a special power, you have to slide the card showing that you used one.
Yeah.
We lost her. She was gone.
I was so gone, yeah.
That's one thing that Stop Thief does really nicely with an app where there is some sort of rules structure behind the whole thing, and so if somebody is trying to make illegal moves, the app won't let them.
Yeah, that is nice. Or if at least the new person is not the person that's the one hidden person.
True.
That's helpful too.
Yes.
Yeah, never tried this one. I'm curious what separates this one from the others.
I don't know. It's in England.
That's it. That's the one. That'll do it.
That's it.
All right. So coming back to me here for the number 7 slot. This is I've been trying a lot more of Reiner Knizia's older designs, even though Equinox here is not. It is the reimplementation of Colossal Arena, a much older game, which would be on this list in this slot, except Tom kicked it out of the library because Equinox came out. Also, every time I see the box, I call it Equinox just to like really rub everyone wrong. So that's why I wrote on here Thomas Equinox.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
What do you know about this?
So in Colossal Arena, there's monsters in an arena, and you're kind of betting on who you think is going to win. I don't know about the more forest spirit looking theme here, but it's something similar to that. It's the same type of game, but just kind of the theme re-implemented. So some sort of like betting on what you think is going to happen based on the stuff in the middle, I guess, right? But obviously with a much nicer coat of paint on it than a game that came out in like 1997.
Yeah, that cover is very striking. Like I think you don't see a lot of purple games, except for an Acrony that's kind of purple.
Kind of, yeah.
I like the color scheme. It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. It's from Plan B Games, so it's like the Golem editions of Century Spice Road. It looks just like that. It kind of fits right in with that line. So yeah, curious about this one. Equinox.
That's cool. All right, what's my next game?
Your next game?
Oh, Above and Below. Okay, so I have missed out on this whole series of games, Near and Far, Above and Below, the whole list of Ryan Laukat games. And I decided on this one because it was the oldest, so it felt the coolest because it was the OG. But also, this is a fascinating little story of, I think that your village has been destroyed and you're coming in, you're rebuilding it up, and you realize, hey, there's these cool caves with all these cool resources and stuff. So we're going to rebuild our society above ground and below ground within the caves. And so I've just really wanted to try the whole line of these games. But this one specifically, I think, should be my first one because it was the first one.
Yeah, I've missed out on a lot of Ryan Laukat games too, and yet I like all the ones I've played. But I just need to put a little more effort into like playing some of these older ones.
Because 8 Minute Empire, that was our first Ryan Laukat, wasn't it? It was a long time ago.
It was. Have you played this one, Eric?
Yes, I have, and I would recommend the whole series. Above and Below is solid. It's a cool storytelling game. It's maybe the purer storytelling aspect of the series. But I would recommend the next one in sequence, Near and Far. I think that's a better game. It's a more interesting game in addition to the storytelling aspect. I have not played the third one, which is
Now or Never.
Now or Never. I have not played that one, so I can't comment on that. But I think I like, of the two that I've played between Above and Below and Near and Far, I like Near and Far better. That's the one I've kept. I've let Above and Below go. So yes, absolutely play this one, but I think get to Near and Far if you can.
Okay. There you go. I guess I have to play all three this one.
You're going to have to.
Darn! All right.
All right, down to number 5, which is mine. This is going pretty far back. Everyone knows about Katon. That's been around forever. But do you know about Katon in space?
Woo!
I've known about Katon in space for a long time. However, I've never gotten it to the table. Starfarers, it was called the Starfarers of Katon when I first encountered it. Now it's Katon : Starfarers. But it's a space-themed resource gathering game. I know virtually nothing beyond that. Oh, I do know that there are spaceships. There are these spaceships that have beads in them, and you shake them up and then you turn them up, and that tells you what order you can do things in. I know there's also things you attach to the spaceships. And that's one thing, honestly, that's kept me a little bit away. I know how old at least many copies were. Now there are newer editions out. But at one point, this was hard to find. And it was very fragile, like attaching the pieces to the spaceships. People were like, you could snap the whole thing off if you're not careful. And so I'm like, I don't know if I want to try messing with that. But now maybe a new edition is more sturdy. I would like to give this one a whirl just so I can knock it off the list and say, yes, I've played Starfarers. I think I've played most of the other editions of Katon, even the 2-player Starfarers, which was, oh golly, I'm forgetting exactly. It's similar name. whatever. The two-player Starfarers I've played, but I haven't played this one, and I would like to remedy that. Katon Starfarers.
Starship Catan?
Starship Catan is the name of the game. Yeah, and then
Ba-
it came out in
Battlefield
another
Earth
version.
Catan.
Battlefield Earth Catan. Yes.
The Enterprise Catan?
There was a
don't think
themed
that
version that was not Catan, but it was the same structure of game. I forget what that one was. Anyway.
So does this have like largest armada or largest fleet of ships instead of like largest army?
I'm going to say yes, because I don't know.
Longest, I don't know, what do you call it? Like, what are those trails that they leave
Trade
behind
route?
planes?
Oh, Contrail?
Yeah.
Yes, that's what it has.
Yes.
Yes, that is what you make in space. Contrails.
Yeah, vacuum of space, contrails, man.
All right. Going over to number 4 pick then. This is one that has, this is a game that Z Garcia of the Dice Tower has talked about a lot of times, and I've really wanted to try this. This is Asante. In the same box, I believe Tom has just kind of crammed both Asante and Jumbo. These are both by Rudiger Dorn, who I consider a fantastic designer. Istanbul, Karuba, a couple of other really, really great games. But Asante is a 2-player only trading game of sorts. I don't know if that means like, I don't know exactly what form that trading takes, right? But it's known for being a very interesting game because typically that type of stuff is reserved for higher player counts, but it's made directly for 2. And it's in that Cosmos 2-player line of games. Asante, by the way, means thank you.
Oh, okay.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. What can I say? So yeah, I really want to try this one. This is one that has eluded me for many a year, and I would like to finally just sit down and play it. And if it's terrible, I blame Mr. Garcia entirely.
Well, if it's terrible, just play the other game that's in the box,
That's true.
and then you're set.
Yeah.
That's
Everyone
true.
knows
You only need to
Jumbo's the
find
real
one
winner.
opponent because it's a 2-player game. So you just have to find one person to sucker into your game.
Yeah, exactly. It should be easy.
Isn't-
Hey, Eric, what are you doing on Thursday?
I'm busy.
Isn't Letters to Whitechapel in the same size box?
No.
Oh,
No, I'm thinking
I
of a
think
different
it's
game.
bigger game.
No,
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a different game.
Yeah, I don't.
Yep, never mind.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one you're thinking about. This is the little 2-player. Yeah, I love this little 2-player box line of games. So
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, there you go. That's Asante.
All right, my last one and my most excited pick is going to be Le Havre. So I've played Inland Port on the app, but I've never played the actual Le Havre, and I don't know how different they are.
Very.
Yeah, I imagine there's
Yeah.
something different, right? Inland Port is like the little 2-player version, but you're building up these worker placement spaces, and then you're building them up, you're laying them out, and as people use them, I think you get some sort of kickback or reward, but then it's also beneficial for you to go there as well because they're the spaces you wanted, you built them up. And that's about all I know of it. Other than there's a lot of different types of resources, and our game in the library is massively upgraded, and so it's going to be even more fun to play.
Yeah, it has the geek up bits, which is great instead of all the cardboard tokens. Because this is the game that has probably the most cardboard resource squares I think I've ever seen.
It is. Oh, I don't know. Some GMT games.
Yeah, those aren't resource squares. Those are
Or
humans.
slaughter games.
Yeah, that's fair. But they're still cardboard tokens. Yeah, so this is
Yeah,
one
this is one.
No, go ahead.
I've only played this one once, and it was with Tom, because this was, at least for a while, his #1 Rosenberg game. And so I made him teach me how to play it. He destroyed me, and I have not played it since. So I'd love to give this another try.
I think you should teach me and a few other people, and then you can just pummel us because we don't know what we're doing.
Sure, that's what would happen,
Word of warning,
because I remember how to play it.
when you say few other people, you should ideally mean one other person. This is
This is one of those games that's only good at 3.
3. I would max out at 3 because 7 actions happen per round, no matter the player count.
Oh.
The first time I played Le Havre was at 5 players. Do not recommend. 2 people get 2 actions in a round. Every other player gets 1 action in a round.
Huh.
And it's one of those games at the end of the round you have to like feed your people and make sure you have enough of the stuff. So there's like the whole rounds of the game where you're like, I get food, and that's it. 4 while
Wow.
people go.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's supposed to be a great 2 and 3 player game. Just a heads up.
Does it max out at 5 or does it max out at 7? So everybody gets one turn per round.
I think it maxes at 5.
Maxes at 5, yes.
Okay.
By the way, Mike Heller in the chat said that you might be thinking of Whitehall Mystery, which is the small.
That's what it is. That's what it is. Thank you. Wow, Mike, you're amazing. Because I remember the pretty little text.
Le Havre means don't play at 5 players.
In Klingon.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, moving on to number 2 on the list, which is my last selection. If anyone stops me on the street and asks me, what's your favorite board game, I will instantly tell them Merchant of Venus, which is a Richard Hamblin design. I have not played Richard Hamblin's other big title, which is called Magic Realm. This is in the library.
We recently got this like a year ago, I think.
Did you?
Yeah.
This is sort of legendary as being a monster to tackle, and this is one that I don't want to take off the shelf and attempt to learn. I would need someone who knows this game who can walk me through it. But I also know it's a pretty extensive game. This is not a short little, I've got an hour to kill, let's try it. I need to have blocked out an afternoon or a morning or whatever to even attempt this thing. So I have gazed upon this in the library and looked at it and said, someday, Magic Realm, someday. And it may not be this year, it may not be in 5 years, but someday I will try Magic Realm. So I'll just keep waving at it from the corner. Hi, Magic Realm. Not today.
Yeah, I remember this came in and I was punching it out, and it also is full of little paper squares, but they're actually like cardstock. They're not even cardboard.
Correct.
They are
Really?
tiny, thin little guys.
1979, this game came out, and it sure shows.
Yeah.
The way that you described it, Eric, reminds me of a bit in The Simpsons where Grandpa Simpson's talking about how he emigrated to the United States. Yeah, when I was a boy, my father said to me, son, one day we're going to America. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday. Later that day, we're on a ship. All right. Let's go to the number 1 here. How do I do that? I have so many computers around me. Number 1, I'm going to go with Weston Smith's pick here, Star Wars: The Queen's Gambit. Eric, you played this
comes
one?
out every time, every convention. A couple people have brought this out because the edition in the library is so good. And this is, for many people, a grail game because it's probably never going to be printed in this form again. We've seen Star Wars Risk, which is similar in mechanisms, but it's not the same thing. And seeing the glorious version in the library is something that a lot of people are looking forward to doing.
Especially the one that Wendy painted painstakingly.
They have very mushed faces, so this is a little hard to paint.
Roger.
But yeah, I mean, if you want to set up a game and you want to be able to have a bunch of people come over to you and go, what is that? That's one of those games because they've got the dual layers and the, all the miniatures and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's one I very much want to try because I love Star Wars Risk.
Oh, you still haven't tried it yet?
I've not. No, that's why it's my number 1 pick.
That's a good reason.
And by extension, both of your number 1 picks too.
Yes, we have not.
I liked
played
the chocolate Katon personally.
Oh.
I remember when that came out, and I didn't think it was a real thing.
Todd's another top 10. The top 10 things that we thought was an April Fool's joke.
Can you imagine shipping that to Florida?
I mean,
That'd be rough in the summertime. You can only order that in the winter.
That's
Yes.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
It comes with a nice pack.
Must.
All right, let's jump to some the last block of contributors here, and then we'll be back with our old school game.
Hi, and welcome to Coop Schult, a place to talk about cooperative games, cooperative game mechanisms, and sometimes solo games. I'm Rich Saunders, and today we're going to talk about something a little different. We're going to do our top 5 cooperative games with acrylic standees. Now, at number 5 on our list is Vagrant Song. With this theme, with the ghosts, it looks really well, and the translucent characters work really well with Vagrant Song. At number 4, we have Weirdwood Manor. This is another kind of horror game. This has a slightly more upbeat feel to it, but one of the things it does really well is it correlates the colors of the stands with the character colors as well. So these are some of the nicer standees I've seen in a game. At number 3, we have Campfire Chronicles. Actually, to get the acrylic standees, you have to get the upgrade kit. But this game has a comic book vibe, and these standees, acrylic standees, work so well on games with a comic book vibe. Speaking of which, that brings us to our number 2. This was our number 1 for a while. Tokyo Sidekick. This is a superhero game, and the acrylic standees just pop on the board with the bright colors and everything. They just look fantastic in Tokyo Sidekick. But our number 1 game, which you've probably never even heard of, is a game called Conquest Princess with its standees of utmost elegance. These have great acrylic standees that's come with comic book vibe, but at the end of the day, these standees light up. What? Anyway, that's my top 5 cooperative games with acrylic standees. If there's some games I missed, let me know in the comments below. I'm Rich Saunders. Have a great day. Find us on the web at coopgestalt.com.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, we are Ryan and Bethany.
From Ryan and Bethany, Board Game Reviews.
All right, today we're talking about Dracula versus Van Helsing. This is a 2-player game where basically what you're going to do is you are going to draw these cards, add them into your card holder, and then through a series of gameplay and card manipulation, end up trying to take control of these areas of the board. Each one of these areas of the board is its own little miniature battle. If you're able to win one of those little miniature battles, you're going to advance your win condition. Alright, so Van Helsing is trying to take out the health away from Dracula, but Dracula is trying to win over all of these citizens and turn them into vampires. If Van Helsing is able to remove all 12 hit points from Dracula, Van Helsing wins. Dracula is able to win if either is able to turn all 4 citizens into vampires in one region of the board, or is able to survive until the end of the game. So you have this asynchronous win condition going on, lots of special abilities that are going to manipulate where cards are, what is the trump suit of that particular round. All those things are kind of happening, revealing cards. It's all through this kind of this card play.
Yeah, the cards are 1 through 8 and 4 different suits, and like Ryan hinted to, there is a trump suit that's going to win regardless of anything. One of the things that I think was really interesting when it came to the artwork of this game was that all of the numbers of a person is the same character, but they're all in a different like position. So it's the same person, but they're like posed differently, and it's like a really tiny simple thing, but I really enjoyed that. It's probably one of the reasons why I was having trouble playing this game, is because I was just looking at the different characters instead of thinking about what card I wanted to play.
It's probably why I won every time we play.
Yeah, it could be.
Most of the time. But I like this different kind of combination of different mechanisms going on. Yeah. I mean, there is that hand management, kind of like Bonanza, where you have you have to keep the hand in the right order as you're moving things around. You have this area control where you have to have the highest number in that given battle between these different regions of the board. You have some light trick-taking going on as you have a trump suit, and it's not really trick-taking, but it's like that kind of idea of what's valued is the same way it is in a trick-taking game. And then, of course, you have those asynchronous win conditions between the 2 different factions, the 2 different players. All that was done really uniquely, really interestingly, packaged together in a way that we had not yet seen before.
Yeah, and I felt like it was really well balanced. Every single time we played, it came down to the very last round. I felt like there was a lot of tug and pull. There's some open information, and there's some stuff that you're trying to keep really close to the chest. I just really enjoyed the interaction of this 2-player game.
All right, you guys, that is Dracula versus Van Helsing. We had a great time with this one.
If you want to hear more from us, you can find us on YouTube. We are Ryan and Bethany at Board Game Reviews. Everybody, this is Ryan. I'm Bethany, hoping you have a happy, healthy breakfast. Bye guys.
What we do here is go back.
Our art school game today is Can You Guess Who? Have you got a clue? Can you guess who? It's a mystery.
Pop goes perfection.
So this game is from 1979. And so I think that counts as old school. I know sometimes we talk about slightly more modern stuff, but think it counts. So I guess what you're trying to do is you're trying to, through the process of elimination, guess features of someone else's person. And I guess in the modern stuff, they're items. I think there's like vegetable guess who and that kind of stuff now. But yeah, you're trying to guess features like, does your person have a mustache? And they'll say no, and then you pop down all the cute little pieces of everybody that has a mustache, and through process of elimination, you're trying to guess who has what person.
Guess Who Giant Edition.
Guess Who's Super Mario?
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of like cardboard standees.
No, just real people. It's like Mr. Burns' human chess.
Yes, yes.
I think I've heard of that actually at conventions. You get a whole grid of people and they're all in costume and they're all. But then you have to get 2 versions of each. You'd have to have 2 people dressed identically so that both players have both.
Oh, I see what you're
That'd
saying.
be
I don't think this
yeah.
would work.
Huh. Unless you played one-sided and it wasn't a race anymore.
So
Did you have this growing up?
I played a good amount of Guess Who growing up with my siblings, but the only way I found it at all interesting, because I think basic version, when you're only guessing one person, if once you figure out the general technique for how to eliminate as many things as possible with one question, it just becomes very simple. The official advanced variant, where you have 2 people that you're trying to guess, I found much more interesting. And you have to ask questions like, are both of your people blank? Are either of your people blank? And then you have maybe a little bit more difficulty sorting, narrowing things down. And you have basically double the questions. And I just like that a little bit more to try and figure things out. And the games last a little longer that way.
I played the more modern version of Guess Who, and the one that where you can do like fruits or you can do vegetables. It has like little slide-in cards so that you can play with little slide-in things. And it was very mathematically precisely laid out. And I don't feel like that was the case with the older version. And so you're like, okay, which one of these are yellow? And they have 3 yellow fruits and they have 3 green fruits. And you know what I mean? Like, it was just very specific. So whatever category you said, you would knock down the same amount of people no matter how many categories you picked. Like, it didn't matter which one you picked.
Yeah, you had to get kind of creative, maybe. But yeah, it was easier with just like a weirdo cast of characters. Like, does your person have a mustache? This is like a high risk, high reward. If the person says yes, you're like, sweet.
Yeah, I'm down to 5 people.
Yeah. I've never tried the 2-character Guess Who, but that turns it into like a proper deduction game, I think. And that sounds incredibly interesting to me, right? I've always had a soft spot for Guess Who. I like it, right? But as you said, Eric, it's such a quick, almost know-nothing game. But if I'm going to be forced to play something with a young kid, there's not a bad one, right?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's
Better
quicker than Battleship.
Quicker than Battleship,
Yeah.
right? There's actual deduction you can kind of do with this one, right?
There's the tactile element of flicking down the things and hearing the
I
clicking.
like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and the quick reset. Right? Yeah, I love that. Have you ever heard of Guess Who Clue?
Colonel Mustard.
No.
I have to imagine this is awful, and I want to play it. This is my new number 1 pick for a game I want to play at Dice Tower East. Guess Who Clue?
Nice. I'm sure it's in the library, too.
I'm trying to figure out, like, are they just the people on the Guess Who, or do they have all the locations and all the weapons and all the people, and you have to guess the 3? So is it kind of like Eric's, where you have multiples?
Oh, maybe, right?
So it might not be bad. It might be okay.
Maybe.
What if it's... Guys, I think we're inventing a better game than Hasbro ever could. But what if there's like multiple Colonel Mustards with like the different weapons, and there's multiple Ms. Peacock with the different weapons and stuff, right? And like...
Does your Colonel Mustard have a picture on his shirt? Does your Colonel Mustard wear glasses?
Yeah.
Oh, my. I don't know. It's hard to tell from just the cover image of this game if that's what's going on.
Yes. But I think that we've made a better game. So...
Is Miss Scarlet holding a whip?
That's, yeah. I guess we've gone there. Folks, good night, everybody. Thank you, Tammy, for the super chat. Appreciate it. Glad Board Games Breakfast is back.
Yeah, we're glad we're back, too.
We're happy to be back. And guess who's back? Guess who?
And we're
Guess
glad
who
that
Clue.
Eric is no longer in the void.
Me too.
Yes.
Me too.
Well, we do. It's about time that we do have to wrap up the stream here. So back into the void, Eric goes until next time. But we should be back with Board Game Breakfast pretty with regularity in every 2 weeks or so.
And alacrity.
I believe that 2 weeks from today is a holiday.
It's Memorial Day.
Memorial
Yes.
Day.
Yeah, so we'll be seeing
we will
you
be
Tuesday?
Tuesday of that week.
Yeah, it'll probably be Tuesday of that week. Around the corner after that, the Summer Spectacular. A lot of stuff going up still live this week, or normal slew of crowd surfing and stuff. We have top 10 games that start with the letter F, which if Eric was in
all freedom and freeze. It's all just all going to be freedom and freeze.
But yeah, it is time to say goodbye. O Conte Partido.
So long, farewell, advitas and adieu. I'm Wendy Yi.
I'm Chris Yi.
And I'm Eric Summerer. Jazz hands.
Thanks for joining us today for breakfast.
Hope that I have the proper outro. You might be seeing the Spring Spectacular outro. Let's see if I mess this up. Bye, everybody.